Hello, welcome to my name is Danny.
I'm Danny.
And welcome to
Soup Troupe Online.
Today we are in our 4th smash hit episode and we are so excited to share everything with you today.
We have a fabulous lineup today with an awesome guest and we cannot wait to get started. So welcome everyone. And our first question, so we would love for you to leave some comments down below. Now we are approaching the fall season. What is your favorite fall soup? Danny, would you like to take it away first?
So we were just talking about this. My favorite fall soup is gotta be butternut squash soup with a little bit of pumpkin seeds on top. We used to get it all of the time at Frenchwoods, which is the birthplace of Soup Troupe, but obviously that was in the summer. And I remember one summer, it was finally fall and I was like, well, now is the time. And I went to like 2 different Targets because the first Target did not have butternut squash soup. But I got it and I cooked it and we had it for dinner and it was absolutely amazing.
My personal favorite fall soup, I love butternut squash. That butternut squash would have to be a close second, but I love a good hearty chili. I think it is so delicious. If you put a little cheese on top, some sour cream, maybe some chives or some like tortilla strips, it always just like warms your heart and your soul. And it's a great, great soup for the fall. I love fall personally, so I'm very excited for the soup season, as some say, even though soup season is all the time here at Soup Troupe.
As Curly Burger said on our inaugural episode, soup is a meal in Australia, and here at the United States, it's just like a part of the meal. But we really do recognize soup for what it is here at STO. So for those of you joining us for the first time today, we have some returners. McLean Ryan says, he says, can't wait for this week's episode. Alicia Bartosik says, so excited. Kendall Julia says, butternut squash soup for the win. So I think I won. Ricky Cardino says, hi, watching from Maryland. Welcome. So for those of you just joining us, we have been doing Soup Troupe for the past 4 weeks online. We used to take place at Frenchwoods Festival for the Performing Arts, which was a summer camp upstate New York, where we would talk about the soups live and in person back when that was safe. But we are so excited to move online to this format and bring on some special guests. So we have a very exciting guest today, all the way from the Broadways. Her name is Emerson Steele. She was young Violet in Violet on Broadway. Danny and I both saw that together. She was Mary Fagan in the parade concert at Lincoln Center conducted by Soup Troupe favorite Jason Robert Brown. And we are more than excited to talk to her about all things soup today. So please welcome Emerson Steele. Yeah.
Hi everybody watching, and hi Danny and Danny.
We are so happy to have you here, Emerson. Welcome to Soup Troupe Online. So, as an inaugural question, we like to ask all of our guests, what is your favorite soup memory?
Ooh, soup memory. Okay. This goes far back. I think I was maybe 6 or 7. And there's this restaurant in Georgia that my mom and I have gone to since I was born, basically. But long story short, I have acid reflux and I can't eat tomato basil soup now. But back then, that was my thing. And so I would always get tomato basil soup. But I had just gone to the doctor and got like diagnosed with strep throat. And I, of course, thought the best thing for that was to burn my throat with tomato basil soup and Fanta orange. So that was the iconic combo. After that, I ended up throwing up, I'm pretty sure. But it was so great in the moment and so worth it.
That's wonderful. I didn't know you had acid reflux. That's insane.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound it. We had Emmy Glick, who you know, she is gluten-free, so we had her and she talked all about the inclusivity of those soups. And Curly Burger is also gluten-free, and I think
it's also dairy-free.
Yeah, which is, there's a big limitation in the dairy-free world on soups. So something we were really wondering is you started professional theater at such a young age. As we know, you were young Violet in Violet with Sutton Foster, Tony Awards and all. So being on Broadway that young, was there a soup that like really helped you get through the show? You know, helped you remind you of home, anything like that?
I would say my go-to soup when I was in the theater was just to go next door to PAX, and which is no longer there, which is really sad. But I would always just get their like chicken tortilla soup, which is great. It's not my favorite. I'm not a huge brothy soup type of gal. I really like my cream-based soups, but it was great. It was great to clear everything out. I'd get that and a salad. Ooh, back when I ate healthy. No more. But that was the go-to.
Ooh.
Totally. It is clear that you are a young powerhouse. You are a huge activist, and we can see from on Instagram, you always try to spread awareness and try and change the world. So we want to ask you today, do you think there is any soups that can help you change the world? Is there a soup that you think really unites people and a soup that stands for the change that you stand for?
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, it's kind of a soup, but gumbo, I think gumbo can change the world. It has all the spices, it has all the different, you can really put anything in it that you want. So if anybody has a specific preference, I think gumbo is the perfect, you have a big pot of it, you bring it around to a table, unite people of all different cultures. It's awesome that it comes from New Orleans, and I'm forgetting the word, the type of food genre it comes from. But
like comfort food?
It's comfort food, but it's also gosh, my dad would be so mad at me. His whole family's like from New Orleans. But anyway, I think gumbo is the move there. I think the world could be changed with a little bit more gumbo.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben Kaplan from our inaugural episode compared his show, I Don't Want to Talk About It, to a gumbo. He said
Whoa.
Layers in it. And that's one thing that he said that I'll never forget. So we know that you've played young versions of other people in your work. So talk a little bit about the challenges of that. And if you had to play a soup, a young version of a soup, what soup would you be playing and why?
Well, I think I'll answer the first kind of part, challenges that come with playing the younger version of a character. I think the main thing, it's not a challenge per se, but like just you have to be so observant and always watching the person, because I just spent hours a day watching Sutton's every move, and I will say we're very similar in our mannerisms, like in real life. We're both very goofy. We both slouch, me way more so than her. So I had to stand up a little bit straighter, but not too much. But the main thing was just like really getting to know each other on that like kind of mannerism level, which is an interesting thing. And I feel like being around somebody so much, like even with my friends, my family, we pick up on each other's mannerisms. But in a show sense, when we're both playing a character, it's not necessarily our own. And so I picked up on like what she was doing with the character and vice versa. A young version of a soup. Ooh, I don't know why I'm feeling French onion. And I will say, okay, so this is also another soup I can't have because of acid reflux, but that was a big soup in my childhood. And I feel like it's kind of a more sophisticated soup. Like kids don't really like French onion. But I was a big fan of the cheese. And so I just really focused on the cheese, and then I enjoyed the soup itself. So I think a young version that has a little bit more cheese in it, maybe a little bit, like if you add a little bit of cream, or I'm trying to think, maybe a little bit of like brown sugar in there. It could be more of a kid-friendly soup. Even though I enjoyed it, but that was mostly because of the cheese.
Wow. We love French onion soup here at Soup Troop. It is one of our fan favorites for many obvious reasons. Another question that we have for you is we know you performed at the Tony Awards, and we were wondering, did you try any of the food at the Tony Awards? And do you have any inside scoop on the soups of the Tony Awards?
No, I wish I did. My Tony Awards experience was awesome, but also a complete whirlwind. We were up at, I think, like 4 a.m. We went and rehearsed our number and the opening number because a few of us were in that. Then we went back to the theater. We performed a show. Then we had like a really quick meal break. I met up with a friend. Then what happened after that? We went to the Tony Awards. I didn't walk the red carpet or anything because I wasn't nominated. And so I just kind of like waited around, and then we were just kind of hauled back and forth. And so I didn't get to experience any of that, which is totally okay. But afterwards, there was like a little cocktail party with all of Roundabout Theater Company's like shows. So there was Cabaret and us, and I can't remember what else was on Broadway at that time. But there wasn't any soup there. So I hate to disappoint. But I will say, I think if I could just like give an opinion of what I think the soup of the Tony Awards should be, this is hard because you don't want to go with something like French onion because you're going to have like breath issues and you're going to have to interact with people. You don't want to go with something like chili because the stomach might not be super content to withstand a whole night. So I feel something like more simple, like, or not simple, but just more friendly, like broccoli cheddar, something to keep you a little bit warm because I feel like it probably gets cold in the theater and everybody wants to like keep their dresses nice. And so I'm going to go with broccoli cheddar, but that's just, I don't know. I don't have the inside scoop, but that's my guess.
Interesting. I like that a lot. So we've heard through, you know, the loop that you do crazy tongue tricks. We don't really know what this has to do with soup, but what does that mean?
Oh my God. So this was actually, and I took it off my resume, but I had this under special skills for a while because I was like, oh, I'm going to get cast in something that's really going to need this. And basically I don't have a lot of special skills. And so I was reaching, and we found this and people bring it up all the time. And it's so funny that it's become a thing. But my biggest thing is like, I can just touch my tongue to my nose.
Okay.
I can do like the 4-leaf clover or 3-leaf clover. I'm trying to show it, but that's about it. I feel like it can come across so inappropriate. And that's when I started being like, okay, I'm kind of an adult now. I should probably take this off. But that's kind of what it means. I was really reaching. I think my special skills now consist of like, she can drive a car semi-okay, and I can swim, and that's about it. Oh, I can hula hoop, but crazy tongue tricks we took off, but I love that it's a reoccurring theme in my life now.
It's okay. On my resume, I have that I can lick my elbow under special skills. I've never been asked about it, but it is there just in case. So I have the same mentality.
That's like nobody can do that. So that's legit a special skill. And I feel like more people should ask you about it.
Yeah, Danny.
I feel validated now. I appreciate that.
I think people at home want to see it, Danny. I think
I even lick my elbow?
Yes.
Okay, if you insist.
See, no, not quite.
So far we started this.
That's
all right.
amazing.
We'll move on to our next question so we don't have to think about licking our elbows. But we know that you, along with Danny, both had shows at 54 Below. And we wanted to ask did any soups maybe inspire your show, or have you tried any of the 54 Below soups?
I have not. I have to say, I haven't tried much of the food at 54 Below, although I hear it's great.
It is great.
Yeah, I basically just drink water there, and I'm like guzzling water the whole time because I'm nervous before I sing. I get really nervous at those shows, FYI. I feel like that's a common theme, but just like being yourself on stage and not a character is very weird. But all that to say, I wouldn't say it necessarily inspired my show, but when I think about it, like my solo show specifically was very, very chili based. And I would say more of a white bean chicken chili, just because also that hits home. That's what I always grew up with my mom making.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Frozen. We are having soup.
No.
Okay, we're back.
I'm back. Oh, I'm so sorry. What was I last saying?
White bean chicken
White
chili.
bean chicken chili. Yes. So it's my mom's specialty. It still is. She would make it every Halloween and also multiple times during the fall. But there's so many different things you can put in it, and I feel like there's so many layers. And my show was so all the things. Like I feel like I pretty much covered all the bases. I did all of Tevia's dream, all the characters, which is also my dream to be in Tevia's dream. That's like my ultimate goal. I want to just be Fruma Sarah. Like I'd be content doing that my entire life. And what else did I did Bang Bang by Nicki Minaj and Ariana Grande and somebody else who's also in that song. But what?
Jesse.
Thank you. How could I forget? And so I just feel like I'm gonna relate it to white bean chicken chili because also I'm super white, and I feel like I really showed that on stage too. So we'll go with the white bean chicken chili instead of a typical chili.
Absolutely. I must say, the next time you can go back there when it is safe, you must try the butternut squash soup.
My favorite 54 Below soup is the cream of mushroom soup. It is delicious. When I saw Danny in his beautiful, wonderful, fantastical hide and seek, all 4 times that I saw it, I got the cream of mushroom. It was scrumptious. It is so good. And then if you get those truffle fries, which are also amazing.
I have had those.
Into the mushroom soup, it is a magical experience for anyone who ever goes to 54 Below. Highly recommend it. It is delicious, but it is not the most practical to like eat a soup while you're watching a show, but it was lovely and I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, when I've had it like, cause you clink and you feel bad like sitting there like clinking, but you do what you got to do for the soup. So this is the time of the day here at Soup Troop where we need you to leave your questions below for Emerson Steele. We know what you're thinking, but we want you to say it so we can ask her. First question, Kendall Julia says, favorite creamy soup?
Butternut squash. That's an easy answer. It's my all-time favorite soup, so it's favorite creamy soup.
Absolutely. McLean Ryan says, thoughts on a Jolly Rancher soup, specifically the blue raspberry flavor?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? I'm into it. I would need something salty on the side to kind of offset the sweetness of the Jolly Rancher, but I'm into it. Also, I'm all for eating anything that's going to turn my mouth blue. It's just so fun, and it brings me back to my childhood.
Emily Wonderly says, if you could have a waterbed made out of soup, what kind of soup would you want?
Ooh, I would say tomato basil soup since I can't eat it, but I could smell it and enjoy. I could make snow angels in it.
Trevor Shingler says, if you were forced to swim in soup, what soup would you choose?
I want to say clam chowder, which kind of makes sense because it comes from the ocean. I would say clam chowder because I also very much enjoy it, and it doesn't have a super like pungent smell. Also that's my boyfriend in the back, but he's on the phone. But that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say clam chowder.
Absolutely. C. Hargrove says, hey Emerson, how is college life at NYU as a soup? Which soup would it be and why?
This is so bad. I gotta think. What's like a soup people don't necessarily enjoy? No hate. This is gonna come out. This is gonna be a thing, and I'm sorry, NYU. In regards to like my freshman year, which I really like was on campus and stuff, the dining hall experience was not the best. And I feel like it's going around on TikTok right now that like NYU dining hall food is absolutely the worst. We never even got any soup options. And so that's really like all I can relate to for like campus life is like the dorms and meal plan and stuff, because otherwise you're just kind of living in the city and going from building to building. And so I don't know. I feel so bad saying this, and I sound so ungrateful. I'm very grateful to be at school there. But as in regards to college life, I gotta go with like, I don't know. I like all soups also. That's the issue. So I can't like find one I don't really like. I'm gonna go with a brothy soup because it's just missing something. And it's missing the cream. I like creamy soups. So I'm sorry for anybody who I like hated on for NYU. I'm sorry, President Andy Hamilton, but get us better food.
I believe they don't serve you soups at school. I know Danny was just telling us that Danny, what kind of soups do you have at school?
I go to the University of Hartford in Connecticut, and we have 2 soup choices every single day. There are always 2 options, and they are delightful. They are so good. The other day, I've been having soups all this week. A lot of my friends can vouch. I have been eating soups nonstop. I had a loaded potato soup that was really yummy. I had a tomato basil soup. I had broccoli cheddar last night. It is delicious, and I have become a huge advocate for dipping fries into soup. It is so good. It is a game changer. It might be an unpopular opinion, I don't know, but I love doing it. It is delicious, and it adds that crunch element, a little bit of salt. It's so good. But I feel for you because the soups are such a big part of my college experience.
I feel like I really missed out because I was always freshman year, first semester was rough. I feel like it's kind of rough for a lot of people moving away from home and whatever. And I just remember being like, I have no comfort food. Like, where is my mom would always make breakfast every morning for us, which is the sweetest thing ever. And I just like missed out on all of that. And then the big thing is like, I feel like soup is what like makes you feel good. And especially these cold winters. But luckily I had a Panera across the street, so I was not soup deprived. That's where I spent most of my money. Lost a lot of money to Panera, but it was worth it.
Yay. Well, that is about all we have time for today. So thank you so much, Emerson Steele, for coming and talking.
Thank you.
We are going to say a big 1, 2, 3. We're
here for you.
Thanks for coming on Soup Troop. Yay, bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yay, that was Emerson Steele. You can follow her on Instagram at Emerson Steele. She posts some really great content, so you're going to want to not miss that. So we have a bit of an announcement. Next week, there is not going to be Soup Troop. We have to skip a week. There's a bit going on in life, so we got to do that. It's all good. So, Danny, how are they going to remember in 2 weeks' time to go watch Soup Troop?
Danny, I'm so glad you asked that question. Next week, it will be released on our Instagram. We're going to do a highlights reel from old Soup Troop meetings. We will have a nice highlights reel of some amazing memories so you guys can get a taste of what Soup Troop was like in person at Frenchwoods. And also make sure to give us a follow on our new Instagram handle at Soup Troop Official. Give us a follow on Instagram or Facebook so that way you can stay on the ups and outs with Soup Troop Online.
Absolutely. And make sure to like and subscribe this video. We are growing and we are looking for that support. If you want to read more about Soup Troop, you can look at the link below in the description for our Broadway Road article about this week's episode. And that is about all for today. So this has been fun. I'm Danny.
And I'm Danny.
And this is
ready Soup Troop Online.
One,
ready? 2, 3. Have a Super Day.
Yay! Here we go.
Soup Troop. S for the sweet, sweet soup we eat at lunch all day, all week. O Please welcome members from every troop on Emerson's Soups right now. S for the sweet, sweet soup we eat at lunch all day, all week.